the Skiddly Bree Quartet. A guy who really took to your hearts, I think, the last time he was here, the man himself, Haggis MacLeod, Norman, and his star pupil, Ian Sigma. Right, lads, we'd like to show you something on the old tenor drums. Here we go. After all, ScotRail Vale of Atholl Pipe Band, you must be interested in trains, and this was called the Steam Train to Malek. It's an interesting one, and it's completely different, I think, from anything you've ever heard. So, for Mary Ann McKinnon, aged 18, of somewhere in the south of England, a piper, here is once again a world premiere in Ballymena, this time the Steam Train to Malek.
like a wagon wheel. Roll me, baby, roll me like a wagon wheel. Want you to roll me, baby, just don't know how it makes me feel. Rock me, baby, want you to rock me nice and slow. Rock me, baby, want you to rock me nice and slow. Want you to rock me, baby, till I can't take no more. Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. Want you to rock me, baby, like my back ain't got no more. Only at open mic. There you go. That's the E flat. All right, 5-4-1. Bagpipes, stand on. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Jump in, baby showed up, she said, I'll tell you when I go down, almost level with the ground. Well, I feel like this, my baby, she can't hours is out of sight. I'll ride for you if you want me to. I really don't believe that your love is true. And I go down, I'm almost level with the ground. Well, I feel like this one, baby, she can't be around. Will never grow old. I love you in the morning and the evening too. But every time you leave me, I get mad at you. When I go down, almost level with the ground. Well, I feel like this when my baby, she can't be found. Come on here. Yo, Pat. Play us a tune, man. Come on up. Play us a tune. All right, let us know when you're ready.
Let Matt have a turn, Bob. Let Matt have a turn.
Yes. You got the one left? No. Give it a watch.
Thomas, I'm awful glad you're here recording this because there ain't nobody ever going to believe this. There are hundreds of people in kilts that died centuries ago rolling over in their graves today. Was that Blues and F? Is that what? On the bagpipes?
These persons.
It's an unusual place to play the bagpipes, but then he's a member of an unusual band.
Okay, right, let's go back to the end of Gold Ring Patty. Drummers back up top the whole bit. You guys need to crush in is what Neil's saying. And are we doing this?
Colin Nichol made a point that we haven't actually physically tried to get from the end of pastoral into reforming and what we're going to do with a jigsaw. I just want to mention that to you, that's all.
Happen is a way where we go to a dark stage, darker than we've had. House lights come down, dark stage, dark, pretty dark, not black, but dark. Drummers come on quietly. John, da-da-da, those people that on this end first. You guys come on. Once they start to see pipers, that'll be the cue for Boney / Derek. to start playing. There's our stage right there. Cool.
You know, that was as good as 2 big shots of scotch. I enjoyed that just as much, you know. But that scotch tickles you, you know. And when you hear them pipes going, my blood just ripples, you know. And if I got a wee shot of scotch in it, they ripple twice as much.
End of the suspend, one more time into the reel. A little more bang, out of the drum corps would be cool. Right there. Let's try it from here, shall we? Right, trad set, muckin. Dum ba dum ba dum bo hey hundo hey dum. Ready? 1, 2.
With time to kill before a date at Late Night with David Letterman, members of the band took to the streets of Manhattan and were given a warm New York welcome.
Yo, you're New York City. The greatest city in the world, guys. Come on, be happy.
Well, not everyone in New York was happy to see and hear the band. At Rockefeller Center, they were told to get lost.
Private property. Sorry, sir. Okay?
Well, what if we're right here on the
No,
sidewalk?
I'm sorry.
Not
No.
even on the sidewalk?
Can we contact the police?
Playing the streets of New York was fun, but now the serious business of playing Carnegie Hall was next.
Half?
Oh, the whole thing, baby.
Okay.
Full shot.
500 nanograms of Rolade.
So you brought your duty free?
Oh, aye.
I'll get you through the concert.
Aye.
This is like the Stanley Cup of concerts.
In a classical sense, playing Carnegie Hall means you've made it. But a pipe band playing here? It's never happened before. So does this concert lift the pipes out of the musical ghetto?
I think it will do that. We're very hopeful that it will do that tonight for us. It's certainly, for a long time, we've felt that the music's been there, and it just seems to be people who are involved in the pipe band circles who seem to think about it that way, and we're hopeful that this might take it a little bit beyond that and help it a little bit, you know, coupled with the sort of success of things like river dance right now, which have been really, very popular. I mean, there's many things that we're going to do this evening that are kind of more like that than they are the traditional pipe band walking on a parade in a street, you know.
How significant is playing Carnegie Hall for you and the band?
Yeah, well, it's very, very significant. We regard it as one of the pinnacles of our careers. It's certainly the most famous concert hall in North America, probably the world. And, you know, so much of our focus over the years has been competition, and we've accomplished just about everything we can really in competition, having won the World Championships on 2 occasions, and now in these last few years we've been doing more in the way of concerts, and it's just the ultimate in a concert experience to perform at Carnegie Hall. Doesn't get any better than that.
It was a great evening. We played about as well as we can play, I think, and it was about what I expected it to be. We just went along for the ride and tried to relax and have fun.
Hours after their triumphant concert, the band, exhausted from the physical and emotional workout of Carnegie Hall, put on an all-day teaching clinic at New Jersey's Montclair State University.
Go back. Yep. And then inside.
Why did you come to learn from this band?
They're one of the best bands in the entire world.
Finally, at a command performance in New Jersey, the band demonstrated that its piping is sweet music. The governor of the state is a fan.
Now, therefore, I, Christine Todd Whitman, Governor of the State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim February 20th, 1998 as Simon Fraiser University Pipe Band in New Jersey. Right here.
We think we're in show business, although we're just a pipe band. We're doing things that a lot of pipe bands have never done and never could dream of doing. And it's perhaps to show that if you work hard and set an objective, that you can realize a goal.
This band is more than just a group dedicated to playing the great stages of the world. Members of the Grade 1 band also donate time to teaching pipers and drummers in the Robert Malcolm Memorial Junior Bands. That's Pipe Sergeant Jack Lee, one of the most decorated pipers in the world. Here he is on a wet Sunday afternoon, tuning up the pipes of the Grade 3 band as they get set to capture the title at the Sons of Scotland Games in New Westminster, British Columbia. And that's Reed Maxwell, the best drummer in North America. You can see he's pretty happy with the Grade 3 drummers.
Right, you, and you. Make sure your heels are together. You girls should know better. Doesn't look very ladylike. And Josh, get your heels together. Just when you get to the circle, make sure it's pretty good.
Okay, so he was able to find room for improvement. But still, he's happy with the performance of this band. In 1997, they came in second in the Worlds, and in 99, they hope to return and win it all. The Robert Malcolm Band was named after two SFU pipe band members, Robert Barbaluck and Malcolm Bokenfour, who were, in a sense, the emotional heart of the band. Tragically, they were killed in a car accident in 1993. Their names, Robert and Malcolm, have been engraved in the lower border of the skin of the bass drum. Now, every time the band enters the competition circle, Robert and Malcolm are with them in spirit.
Their car was at an intersection, stopped, waiting for a red light, and was rear-ended by a driver, and basically killed Rob instantly, and Malcolm was in a coma and succumbed the next day. It was a major setback for the band because they were two of our better players. It really had a profound effect on the band, but it was one of those things where after, a few weeks after when we regrouped, we basically said, look, we've got to press ahead and, keep in mind what they would have wanted. They would have wanted us to win the Worlds.
2 years after the horrible loss of Robert and Malcolm, SFU bounced back and became only the second band from outside of Scotland to ever win the Worlds. That's the World Championship banner hanging from the bass drone of Pipe Major Terry Lee's pipes. Winning the Worlds means winning more than just one contest.
There's a medley contest and a march, strass, bay, and reel. You have to win overall, first overall to win. If winning them both would be, you definitely would win if you won both. In the march, strass, bay, and reel, you have 3 tunes, one march, one strass, bay, one reel, and they need to be big, stiff tunes.
And they just bing, bing, bing all together.
Bing, 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 and that's a 5 or 6 minute performance, okay, with very difficult tunes. In the medley, you need to have the cross-section of music. You need something marchable. You definitely need a nice strass bay or two, a slow number, and some rockin' tunes at the end. You need some reels, jigs, and hornpipes at the end to make it lively and exciting.
Do you write your own music for this, or are there set pieces that you're supposed to pick from?
You pick your own tunes, and what we try to do is pick a little bit of everything. Maybe 1 or 2 traditional tunes that the listener would be familiar with, 1 or 2 maybe old tunes that are sort of vaguely familiar, and some new modern material that maybe someone in the band has written or a friend of the band has written or whatever. Put it all together in a way that makes as much musical sense as possible. You can't just pick random tunes and throw them together and expect to have a nice continuous performance. It has to be structured and put together in an interesting way. So we spend months working on that to get the medley so it just flows. Hopefully we have one this year, I think we do, that flows nicely together. And that is a 5 to 7 minute performance. So what you aim there for is about 6 minutes. See, if you went to 7 minutes,
you're increasing the risk.
Absolutely, and the pipes will get wet and they'll go out of tune, and things can happen. If you only go to 5 minutes, it's too wimpy.
Right.
Basically, you're not giving your best chance.
They're watching every little aspect.
So we're all going to 6 to 6.5 minutes, and you try to find a collection of tunes that are interesting and have that time limit. Why don't I do this? I'll blow up and I'll give you an example of a strass bay, and then I'll break into a reel so you can see the difference in the tunes. Okay, I'll play a little bit of a jig. Yes. You can hear the jig's really peppy into a hornpipe.
Now, let's look at how tough it is to win when you factor in just how hard it is to even play the pipes. You blow at one rate, you squeeze the bag at another, your fingers move at a third and very complicated beat, then there's some rather ugly footwear and footwork, and then if you have to march, that happens at yet another rate. No wonder good pipers are such exceptional lovers. Then try and figure out a combination of tunes that will prove you're the best in the world on a rainy day in Scotland.
At this level, it's not about participating, it's about going with what you need to do to win.
And win is exactly what the band wanted to do in 1998. In early August, as the worlds loomed, band members were riding high on the triumph of Carnegie Hall. They prepared for the World Championships with a sense of companionship, fun, and supreme confidence. Everything looked fantastic. The band felt ready, the weather in Vancouver was magnificent, and with days to go before leaving for Scotland, the band was practicing high on a hill overlooking the city in the late day sun when a rare opportunity to goof around sprang up. Happy Birthday is not a difficult song to play on the pipes. It's unusual, to be sure, but playing it for Dave Hicks on the anniversary of his birth is merely an example of the sense of fun and family that is a big part of this band. The 35 members of the Grade 1 band literally live together for 8 months of the year, and by August the relationship intensifies. And it's all about one thing, winning the Worlds. And sadly, that means not everyone gets to compete.
This year we have 18 pipers in the band. I think we have 7 side drummers, 3 tenors, and a bass. We can't play 18 pipers. That's just, it's too many. It's too difficult to tune up that many and make it sound like one. And it's too difficult to make 18 players play like one. That's a lot of fingers. So we have to cut it down a bit.
To what?
Well, depending on the weather and everything else, 16 or 17. So there would be 1 or 2 players that just wouldn't get to play.
What do you say to those 1 or 2 that can't play?
We try. They all understand the situation, and they're still a very big part of the band. If they don't get to play at the Worlds this year, they maybe have other times or will in the future.
To date, the year had been one of great triumphs. There was Carnegie Hall, they won every competition they entered, and there was the release of the Carnegie Hall CD.
We're debuting it here at Coquitlam Highland Games, June 27th, and we're having a great time.
A lot of work getting it to this point?
A heck of a lot of work. It's been a long time, since late February, so it's been a lot of hard work, but we're finally here. We're pumped, we're excited, and we have tons of them to sell.
The release of the CD is yet another triumph for this amazing band. Getting to this point has been an incredible journey from very humble beginnings. In the late 70s, Terry Lee and Robbie McNeil were the heart and soul of an also-ran Grade 1 band in Vancouver. Rarely did they win anything, but back then a couple of twists of fate changed their future forever. Simon Fraser University was looking for an official band. Up to then, it had had a ragtag gathering of students who were inconsistent and unreliable.
How could you have a university named Simon Fraser without having a pipe band? I mean, you absolutely had to have one.
We were the City of Port Moody pipe band for several years, and in 1981, the university approached us about becoming the SFU pipe band. But it was quite interesting. We weren't the first choice at the time. One of the local bands that was better than us in the local competitions was asked, but they ended up turning it down. And as fate would happen, we were approached and we accepted. So it was one of those things, though, that we had a little bit of trepidation about, because we thought it was too good to be true, everything, when the university was offering us kilts and a small sponsorship. But we talked about it after band and decided we would go ahead with it, and it was an amazing result.
The RSPB trophy and banner. Simon Fraser.
An addition of great significance to the band in the early 90s was that of drum corps leader Reed Maxwell. He has a drive and determination that is contagious. He is a drummer, full stop. Maxwell is one of only a handful of people in the Scottish pipe band world who makes his living from his passion.
I like to play drums more than anything else. I like to play drums in a pipe band. It's kind of weird, but I've always been driven that way since I was a kid, 4 or 5 years old. I always wanted to play in a pipe band, and I wanted to play drums in a pipe band. I love pipe music, but I've never had a desire ever to play bagpipes. But I love to play with bagpipes.
And one of the people he loves to play with the most is this man. He may look like a mild-mannered accountant, and when he's at work with Chevron Oil in Vancouver, that's exactly what Jack Lee is, a master of the numbers. But get him near a set of bagpipes, and Jack Lee morphs into a man on fire.
Pipers. This is Saturday temperature, right? A little bit cooler. Remember, if you have to feather the reed a little bit with your fingers, just to sweeten that top end up. Be aware of what that's doing. If they feel the F sticking out, right? Like right around here, they're definitely flatter than we're inside, right?
Jack has won just about every international piping award there is. His most prized trophy is the clasp, an award available only to winners of the gold medal at Inverness.
Well, he just was going to be a piper, and he never stopped.
That's Jack's grandma. She is as proud can be.
Well, he's got everything there is to compete for. He can't do any more.
Her father was a top flight piper in Canada, India, the United States, and Europe. That's his hardware from over 100 years ago. She encouraged her grandsons to follow in her father's footsteps. Now her grandsons are two of the greatest pipers in the world. Legend has it that without Helen, the Simon Fraser University Pipe and Drum Band wouldn't be the musical force it is today. She was Jack and Terry's biggest inspiration and fan.
Terry was a beautiful dancer. And Jack, of course, a piper. What more could you wish for?
Terry is the oldest, and it's interesting to note he came to piping through the dancing world. In fact, he was a world-class junior dancer who performed for Queen Elizabeth in 1968 when he was just 12 years old. Then in his teens, he migrated off the dancing platform to piping.
Wherever we went, Terry was cleaning up in the dancing.
As pipe major, Terry has a calm, confident style that he diplomatically doles out.
Tonight, I want you easy. Here's the main part of my conversation now. I want you easy. We had a little fun at the London airport there, and some of you only sucked a couple of beer, right? Now you need to pull it back, okay? I want you to suck, because here's the problem. Some of you guys can't say no after one or two. That's the problem, okay? You can't. And the fellow beside you doesn't do that, doesn't tell you. That's a problem too, all right? Tonight it's 1 or 2. Pick a number. If you can't stop there, don't have any.
Leading a group of world-class pipers requires a firm hand. They are, after all, a stable of finicky thoroughbreds whose talents need to be respected and guided.
Is Terry a good pipe major?
The best.
Why?
Well, a couple of things. We've become pretty good friends since I joined the band, and musically we seem to hit things off. That doesn't mean that we're falling over each other to agree with each other on every idea, but we seem to musically click when it comes to putting a performance together. And you know, he's a little more laid back, I'm a little bit more up front, and I think that's a good balance. And you know, that we're getting better. I mean, even him and we get better. You know, lead drummer pipe major combination every year, but he's really good, and he's very, very good on the start line at the Worlds, and just being so relaxed, and just has a great demeanor on the start line. Just, you know, it's like, here we are, let's do it, you know.
Terry and Reed are a great team. Lee is low-key, Maxwell bombastic. And rounding out the executive staff that has lifted this band from obscurity to the top of the world is Neil Dickey. He is a writer of tunes. His is an irreverent style. He likes to poke fun at life. He has written pieces like Clumsy Lover and The King of Carden Den, tunes that have the piping world revering him as one of the best modern composers.
Simon Fraser's the best band in North America, and I like to share my music with them. I enjoy working with them.
How did you get involved with the band?
I'm friends with Terry Lee and have been for about 25 years. No, 15 years, we're not that old. But we met around about 1980, and we both found we had a common goal, which was to seek excellence in bagpiping and in pipe bands. And I didn't have the talent base in Alberta where I lived to do this, but we sort of struck up a friendship and started working towards the same thing. You know, and he had a lot of pipers in his band there and invited me to come play. I ended up writing some music that the band played, and so they helped me make my music popular, and I helped them by, identifying a new style of bagpipe playing.
By midsummer of 1998, the band was in demand in Vancouver. They had been asked to perform at the annual Fireworks and Sea Festival. With days to go before departing for Scotland and the Worlds, the band was reluctant to put any of its energy into anything but preparing for the championships. But success brings with it a responsibility to be seen and heard, especially in your hometown. This is what Glasgow looks like on August the 14th. It's the eve of the World Bagpipe Championships. It's pouring rain, and the temperature is maybe 12 degrees. The city wants to celebrate. Officials put on a brave face, but it's hard to get excited when the weather is miserable.
You need to get your pipe started up. 1 minute you're flat, the next minute you're short.
For the Simon Fraiser University Pipe Band, the bad weather is disastrous. Pipes are extremely sensitive to changes in weather. 16 hours earlier, the band was in sunny, hot Vancouver. Their pipes are not adjusting well to wet, cold Glasgow.
A little bit cooler.
So do your homework. Take your pipes apart, brush them thoroughly, leave them on the bed for a while.
So what I typically do is open it up, and after traveling on the plane for so long, take them apart. And underneath here is a sheepskin pipe bag. So what I'm going to do is put corks in these drone stocks. I'll just blow it up. So if this was really airtight, it would be still tight. But because it's a little bit dry, it's leaking a little bit of air. This is just a jar of bag seasoning. That should be enough. Clean it up a little bit. So quite a bad smell. And as I'm doing this, I'm letting the seasoning flow farther back into the bag. I blow it up, and it's nice and tight. Really tight. That's good. So that's when it's nice and tight like that, I won't be wasting energy with the air escaping out of the little pores in the skin. It'll all be going right into the reeds, which makes it much more efficient to play.
For the drummers, technological advances in the drum skin mean the weather is not a problem. Their confidence is soaring.
I feel that every year we've gotten a little bit better in different ways, but we're very good this year. It's scary.
With hours to go before the Worlds, band members check every detail. Sporrans are polished, even sandwiches are made.
Don't trust some of the food at the Worlds. One year pipe band ate at the park and got food poisoning.
And then there are those little superstitious rituals, like the rookie speeches.
Yeah, I've had a little time to think of this speech, a couple years, right? So I came up with a couple ideas. I thought of maybe talking about how much Jack and Terry mean to the band, and they mean so much to us, and we owe a lot to them. But then I thought, well, I've never been much of an ass kisser, and I'm not going to start now, right? I thought of talking about RMM, how great it's going to be for the future of the band, right? It's going to be, future of BC piping in general, and how much Reed's done for the RMM and drumming and everything. But I thought Reed's head was already big enough as it is. I was going to talk about Robbie and all the hard work he does for the band, setting up Carnegie Hall and this possible Australia trip and everything. And then I remembered about signing those 400 CDs.
There is also Reed Maxwell's traditional World Bagpipe Championship breakfast, fried haggis.
The other place, we had to cook our own breakfast because it was a self-care and accommodation. So I figured, at the Worlds, because the food's so bad at the park, you need a big breakfast. You need a big breakfast, good breakfast. So I thought, right, let's do it like I would do if I was sitting at home. We'll get the eggs going, we'll get the sausages going, we'll get the haggis going, make some toast. So I've just done it.
That's good.
Then, after a restless, jet-lagged sleep, the 28 members of the band don their kilts, climb onto the bus, and prepare to do battle in an intense competitive arena. When the band arrives at Glasgow Green, the rain is unpredictable. It's on and off. Then as the SFU band enters the World Championship competition circle, the sun makes a brief appearance and subtly alters the sound of their pipes. Then there's the judging issue. It's as rich in piping as it is in figure skating. The song the band is playing is titled The King of Carden Den. It's about judging.
You can't control people who judge you. You can only control how well you play. And if you play your best, that's all you can ask for,
Late in the day, over 180 bands amassed to learn how they had been judged. The news for the Simon Fraser University Pipe Band was not good.
In first place, the RSPBA Jubilee Trophy and banner, Victoria Police. Number 4.
The Victoria Police Band from Australia became only the third band from outside of Scotland to capture the title. SFU came in a disappointing 6th.
Number 6. It's always nice to be in the prize list, but if you don't have the bad times, you really can't relish in the good times. And some of our young people need to learn that.
What was the reaction after that devastating loss last year?
It was pretty discouraging. because we had won the World Championship twice before, it was a hard pill to swallow. But we have always been a band that's rebounded from bad results or adversity. And we refocused on competitions instead of concerts, cleaned up our sound, and focused on regaining the World Championship.
1999 World Champions, Grade 1, in first place, the RSPBA Jubilee Trophy and Banner, Simon Fraser University, Canada, program number 11.
What about the grade 3 band in their bid for the World Juveniles? What have they done?
They've done the same things that we have. They've focused on a good sound, tight playing, and very good unison. And they are playing very well this year. I think that they have a very good chance to take it.
First place, the McDermott Shield and British Airways Cup, Robert Malcolm Memorial, program number 8.
had tears in my eyes. I was so proud of our group and felt the emotion of the crowd, so much so that the wife of the Canadian Consul General was sitting beside me and she put her arm around me. She said, "I understand." It was really quite a moment I'll not forget.